Welcome to our weekly talk show New Gambia platform. Today we're gonna be talking about raising issues related to raising kids in the diaspora. It's a very sensitive issue and very important. We're gonna be discussing that in depth, and we also gonna be talking about social and political responsibility of COVID. So I will first allow our panelists to come in. Alas, if you want to come in and then talk a little more about this topic. Raising issues related to raising kids in the diaspora. Welcome, Alas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sawaneh. That is a very hot topic, I think, yeah, it's definite that many people know that there is always a problem raising these kids here, whether you have them in the Gambia or you have them here in the diaspora. I think the problem is always that a parent from Africa, I used to call it like this, that, it's a family and coming from different cultures. Because the parents from Africa, they are having the African culture, but their kids, they should not always make the mistake. The kids are having another culture. Why? Because of the environment they are getting, they are growing, which has a very big impact on, or influence to their growth, their lifestyle, their mentality, because that is the environment. And I think that is where this tension always arise, that the parents from Africa who knows another culture want or expecting the kids to practice that also within their environment, being diaspora, you know, there is always a little bit of misunderstanding because many parents used to say to the kids, why do you do it this way? Because when I was a kid, I was doing it this way, forgetting that that kid is a European or American. They are the parents, but the kid is a European or American, and they are having another culture, very different from the culture from the parents. So when the parents try to understand this difference, they can cope with it. But many parents don't understand that because we are taught to behave this way, to talk this way, things of that nature. You can teach them that also in the house. Let them know it because it's very important for them to know. But the pressure from the outside is huge. The way their friends behave, and you cannot stop that. You cannot stop that person from getting friends. They are living here, so they have to cope with the life. Even you as parent, you have to cope with the life because you cannot force your culture here because you always have obstacles. You understand? So you have to just relax, you know, try and get this connection with them so that you have a way to advise them, not with pressure or loud. Try to get them so that they can hear you because you have the experience. You are older, you are matured. They don't know. So I think that is always a problem because these kids, especially, they need also in their environment a lot of support because our kids or even from Africa when they are born there, you know the environment they have also a lot of challenges. You understand? Saying uh, racism, for example, they used to realize that too, you know, and where they used to have more problems outside, they need the support of the parents then. But when the parent is also uh, using force, and they are also encountering other problems outside. So it's just like they stay there alone. We can head them to a lot of things. So for me, I would only advise the parents to have patience with them, because these kids are having a lot of stress because they are between two cultures, you know. So parents need to understand them and help them, because problems they'll always have problems when they go outside. So they need help when they come home. You have to just embrace them and try to keep them down, give them good advices, give them hope. Tell them nobody, let nobody bring you down, things of that nature. I think that's all that I wanted to say about it, and then can Sam come in maybe?
All right, Sam, welcome. Thank you, Alas, for that insight. Sam, what do you think
Yep.
about this raising kids issue in the diaspora, which is a
Yep.
problem?
Thanks, Alice. That was a very good insight as well, and really appreciate your input all the time. So
Thank you.
it's it is definitely important. It's a very important topic, and um, I look at it from a leadership standpoint. When you have kids, to really lead by example, and I believe that every kid needs a father figure in the home. Boys especially need to really have a man figure in the house to be able to lead by example and train them and coach them and teach them to do all the good things and stay away from all the bad things. And you also need a woman in the house to really be a mother figure for them in the house. And mothers really need to be the ones that really train the girls, even though fathers can train the girl too. But woman to woman and man to man is a lot easier from what we all know and how we grew up. It's important to also understand, our cultures, our traditions, especially and when you're in the diaspora. We came from Gambia. We know how we lived there, how we grew up, how we went to school. It's always good to share things like that with your kids for them to understand what we went through to get to where we are today. Starting with, and I share this. In fact, I was in the car yesterday with my sons from their basketball game coming home. And we were talking about some things. And I told them, you see, when I was going to school, I walked, I walked to school and I walked from school to home. And,
They're probably
because my,
surprised, right?
was that?
They're probably surprised about that.
Yeah, they said, why didn't you guys have cars? I said, well, we don't have cars, I said, my parents didn't have cars. They couldn't afford a car, and we didn't have any car. In fact, in the whole place, when you see a car is a taxi that's going to take people to places from town to town or village to village, but not an individual owning your own car. And you don't see that very often in those days. Now it's different a little bit, but in those days, in our time, I let them know, my dad traveled from place to place using donkey carts. He will use my brothers to take him from place to place using donkey carts. That's what they use. They go from one village to another village, because that's what they had. That's what they had. So we went through all of that to today in America. I said, look at it. I trained I trained my daughter, which is my oldest, to drive, and I bought her a car. And then my oldest son, when he also got to 16, I trained him to drive, and I bought him a car. So I bought my daughter a car, and I bought my son a car. Those are the two oldest ones. So I said, you see, we didn't have that opportunity back home. We didn't have that opportunity. So you guys have the greatest opportunity. So you need to listen to me and understand where I came from, what I went through to get to where we are today, to get you guys what you need. So it's important for children to understand their parents and have the ambition and understanding that they have a better opportunity than us. So with that said also, Here is how we lived, and this is how we're living, by leading by example. I like to lead by example, in everything that I do, whether at home or at work. I always lead by example, and do all the right things right. And anything that's wrong, stay away from the wrong stuff. Do not go to the wrong places. Don't hang out with the wrong people. All of these are bad influences for you. So if we all need to make sure that we really train our kids to be with the good people, have good friends, not bad friends. I have never smoked in my life. Okay. That's how I grew up. And my parents have never smoked either. So, and that's how I train my kids to stay away from cigarettes, stay away from anything that's going to contaminate your organs, your system. So don't even smoke a cigarette. And none of them smoke cigarette. None of them. My two older one, definitely none of them even smoke anything. So that's a good way to be a role model for your kids. And when you have that kind of role model father figure in the house, kids tend to practice and go with the same thing, because even at home, when one kid says one thing and the other one gives them a response that's not an appropriate response, I stop them there and say, here's how you say something like that. You shouldn't be saying it that way. This is how you need to say it. You coach them to be nice to each other, to be polite to each other, and they grow up like that. And I would say personally, I thank God, and I'm very happy and I'm very proud of my kids, because each and every one of them from their schools, since elementary all the way to high school, and I have two younger ones that are not in high school yet. That one is in junior school, one is in elementary. My last one is in elementary. But each and every one of my kids, from their elementary all the way to where they are now, I've heard not once, not twice, not three times from their teachers saying, "My kid is a role model in their class." And they wish they have 25 of my son or my daughter in their class. I've heard this not once, not twice, and for each one of my kids, I've heard that. So that made me feel proud, and they really have teachers have commended me and my wife, saying that we raised very good kids and we raised them right. That's why they want them to be role models. They are role models in their classes. They want all the kids to look like our kid, you know. So when you start that and you lead by example and lead kids that way, they focus on, they have a straight path by being a good citizen, being a good person, a nice, gentle, polite, respectful, respect all the people. I always say, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you treat people the way you want to be treated, it's always good for you, because that's what you get in return. If you don't treat people well, people are not going to treat you well. That's how it goes. If you tell people you don't care about them, they're going to tell you they don't care about you either. If you say, I really care about you, and I want what's good for you, that person is going to think that, wow, this is a good advice. So I'm going to, in return, first, I'm going to assume that this person is a good person for them to be able to tell me that they must be good themselves. So I'm going to, in return, be saying the good things to that same person, but also wish them all the good stuff, all the best. So it all starts at home, and we really need to make sure that our kids get really dissociate themselves from the bad crowd, from the kids that are going out there doing all kinds of things that they're not supposed to do, watching bad movies that they're not supposed to watch, and hanging out with the wrong people. You always look, when you get involved in your kids' activity from school, you will be able to see what kids are your friends. Sorry, what kids are your kids inviting? What friends are your kids inviting to your home to come and play with them? You're going to be hearing them talking. You can see how they talk. You can see and hear not only how they talk, but how they act, how they interact, and see, you will be able to differentiate someone that has an anger problem and someone that's respectful, or someone that's really rude. You know, you will see that from the other kids, and you'll be able to tell whether your kids are hanging with the right people or not. If you see somebody that's a wrong kind, a wrong person to hang with, you tell your kids at that point, from that beginning, from elementary school or middle school, wherever they are, when you notice them with a friend that's not good, that's when you tell them from that point that I don't want this person here because this is not a good friend to hang out with. In the long run, if you continue with this person, they're gonna lead you into something that you're gonna get yourself in trouble and you won't be able to get yourself out of this. So stop hanging with this person. So and so is a good friend. Every time that person comes here, I appreciate them. I like them. They talk with you with respect. I've never heard any bad word from their mouth. They're always polite. Everything they need, they ask for it. You know, they are nice people. People that are nice hang out with the nice people. People that are not good, if you hear them in your house arguing and doing all that things, and know that that's how they treat their parents. That's how they talk to their parents as well. And I tell my kids that person is not coming here anymore. Don't go to their house, and I don't want them here. So I take charge and I take control of that. And this is how I make my kids hang with the right people. And up to now, I did not have any regret. It's always been good. They've always hung out with the right people. And because when I'm at home, I hear a child. So, for example, any child from another place that come to visit my kids, and they're talking, I hear them say something that's not right or do something that's not right, I immediately intervene. I get in there and I say, look, this is, you're not supposed to do that. You can't do that to your parents. You cannot say that to your parents. You cannot say that to your friends. This is not how you do it. You need to say it this way. You need to be nice. You need to be polite. You know, you're a kid. How old are you? And I'll say, I'm 5 or 7 or 8, 9, 10, whatever. I'll say, you know, I give them the right advice. And I said, and I always tell them, this is my house. I'm in charge here. When you come here, you're going to act this way. If not, you're not coming back here. That's, I tell everybody, you know, I always want to tell people the truth and tell them up front and be frank with them. Don't hide anything. Don't do anything. Tell them the right things so you guide them to be a good person. I think that helps in the long run when they grow up and they grow up to a teenager and then become an adult. They practice that, being that role model, knowing that this is how our houses, this is how our parents brought us up, and this is how I have been behaving. This is how I do things. You know, they follow that path and become a good person, and always stay away from the bad people that gives them bad influences, that talk about bad things, and that watch bad movies that can end up leading them into something in the future that they're going to regret. So that's kind of like how I look at it. Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam. Very good. Well
I just
said.
wanted to add something.
Okay, go ahead. Before I come, go ahead.
Uh, yeah, because I mean that was very important to say that, let them also try to understand you, you know, and then that's where most of the people also have problems, because if you are not open to the child, what many from Africa also are having is a cultural problem and mentality problem too, you know, because the kids are here somehow lonely because of their color, maybe, even if you have them with white person, one always sees, especially you have a lot of, maybe in America it's not like that, but in Europe, they always see that there is an African behind it, something like that. They love them, but still you have this little bit of racism inside.
Right,
So
right, right, right.
the fact that people like them and they look nicer, and even their own girl groups, you will see that they'll always try to tease them. It's jealousy, and so sometimes they used to encounter these problems. So they only have the parents at their back. So you as a parent, you always have to be open to them in the way that they come themselves without asking with any problem they have. But that one, you as a parent should try and uh, make sure that this environment is there so that you can talk. You know, when I see that with my daughter, sometimes he used to come with things. I used to say, look, don't tell me that. You understand? Because I brought her up like that, that she's open to me for everything. Any problems he has, you know, and that's the best way. And don't use force or try to threaten them, or as we know, because we, you know, when we take in the Gambia, for example, you know, many people don't even have the chance to sit with their parents and discuss any problem or anything because the parents don't give that, So they used to say you have to give a lot of respect, and so that kids even stay alone with their problems. Because when they are uh, too afraid of the father or the mother, then they'll not come with their problems. So the parents will not know what's going on. And I think that's the worst part, than to open yourself so that they can come with any problem, so that you can help them and guide them. Because you, as a parent, you can only help them and guide them when you know what's going on. So if this canal is not there, that is also dangerous for the kids. I've seen some parents who used to uh, uh, think or expecting their kids to be like them as they were in Africa, you know, which is also another tension. You know, you cannot expect that. Just as Sam said, what we all did and so. If you say tell them, they'll laugh because they cannot even imagine that. So the problems that many people used to have, I've seen it here in Germany, especially people from Turkey, when the parents come, they they are working, they get the kids here, you know. So these kids, they are not from there. They are not from there. They are Germans. They are born here. They have their friends here. They are grown up here. You understand? You can train them the culture a little bit, advise them and things like that. But they used to force them even to wear these things on the head. And when they do that, when they go out, the girls will laugh at them or look at them. Why? Just what I was just saying at the beginning. So you have a culture conflict, and these people, they stay in between. At home they are Turkey, but outside they are German. So sometimes they don't know where they are, because outside they have to cope with the environment, and at home they have to cope with home. I mean, it's okay. You bring them by like that. Most of them, they only speak their language, for example, at home. So that's why many of the old people cannot speak the language. But the kids, they go to school, they have friends. Some of them even help to translate for the parents. You understand? But these people are from here. So the latter part is always when they have their pension and want to go back home. That's the second problem. They'll ask the kids, let us go back. They'll tell you where. You say home. They say that I don't know there. you know, and and then the next problem begins. They used to have a lot of conflict because these kids, they tell you, whom do I know there? You know, what am I looking there? And as a parent, you cannot force them there. Because these people are Germans. So many uh, of these parents used to have problems. Later they go alone and leave the kids here. You understand? So it's always a problem. We all wish it like that. Uh, but when you have the kids here, they are already integrated. You a pension man and want to go back to Gambia, you know, you cannot, because when they are, for example, at the college, at the university at that time, you cannot just say, look, pack your things and follow me. No, they can only come and visit you sometimes, but those people are Europeans. So there are a lot of people who never try to accept these things. I mean, it's hard. We wish it all different, but we choose it also. on the other hand, because we choose to come here, we choose to have kids here and build a family here whatsoever. So on the other hand, you still have behind your head, one day I'll go back. Hmm? But that doesn't mean that the kids will go back. You can try. It's only simple when they are very young. When they are very young, they don't even know America. You say, okay, come, so that they can catch up with the next culture very quickly because kids, they learn very quickly. But when they come to the puberty phase, that's where the kids are more complicated. That's where the problems also begin. You know, and this phase, many parents, whether it's even Africa or diaspora, many parents used to have a lot of problems with the kids. Why? Because many parents don't know that these kids are at this phase. You understand? But when you know that they are at this phase, they'll do a lot of things which you are not going to take very seriously because you know why. And this why, when you know it, you can help them because they don't know what they are doing, especially the women, you know, it's because of the hormones. They have more hormones than the men. That's why for them, you will realize it that they are on their puberty phase, you know. Where you realize it, you'll see that they'll joke with you, laugh with you. 10 minutes, they are very different again, or answer very free words and things like that. So you as a parent, when you don't understand them, sometimes you will even just want to take them and throw them on the wall. And that's how many parents also behave because they don't know why. They'll just tell you, she has no respect. You understand? That's how we understand that. She has no respect. You know? Why answering me these free words or things like that? You know? Uh, but there's a problem. The problem is they are having a lot of hormones in this phase in their body, which is not controlled. The best thing is you try to take a video and make all films, and later when they are grown up or have kids themselves, you show them that. I think that will be the best thing. You know, I mean, we all went through this phase, and it was not easy. For boys, sometimes you don't realize it; they have it too. Most of the time, they are very quiet, and then not okay with anything, but they are easy to move with. But the ladies, the fact that they have more hormones, you realize it's so far. And many people who don't understand that, the parents cannot sleep because they are thinking their kids are out of head, or they're crazy, or they are taking drugs, or things of that. They think of everything, and it is not. It's a very normal phase and development. You understand? But you need to understand. That's why when you know the why, you take life easier. But when you don't know it, then it's everything very critical. You know, some will even try to say, "I'm going to the Marawa to pray for him or for her." All those nonsense. Just because the why is not known, and it's very simple. We have all undergone that. You know, the puberty is for everybody there. Just that it's more aggressive, I would say, for women. You know, but you realize it. You know, that's why when you have a daughter, a grown-up daughter, then you know already everything. It's a good practice. So I would advise the parents to take, especially at this age, say 15 going upwards, if they should see something very strange with the kids, to try to understand that something is going on. They're growing, the hormones are also there doing their job, so that they try to just open to them, bear a lot. We were all like them before, and now today we're laughing back. It's just a short time, you know, and then provide them this environment that they can communicate harmonious with you without uh, problems. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Alas, for
Hey,
the
yeah, Mr.
insight.
Sawaneh, before you come in, let me just add one more thing I forgot here, and it won't take too long. It'll take just a minute.
Go ahead.
And one of the things that I started with is really, like I said, lead by example, but also Because I am a Muslim, I put that into my kids that there is fear of God. You have to know that there is Allah. There is a day of judgment. You're going to be held accountable for everything that you do on this earth. So, whatever you do, your good deeds has to overweigh your bad deeds. If you have more bad deeds than the good deeds, guess where you're going? You're going into the fire. So I always put this in there. I always make sure that they follow that. I always make sure that, of course, I lead by example, and I lead them. Let's say I say, let's pray, and they see me praying myself, and I do not just tell them to pray, but they see me. I pray 5 times a day, and they also seen that prayers.
I usually will lead the prayers most of the time.
Right.
And sometimes allow them
Lead
to
the
lead
prayers.
Yeah.
Yep, lead the prayers, and they've also seen that. Sometimes you're not all home at the same time. So they've seen that I get off work and I come home every day, Monday to Friday. The first thing I do when I walk in the house, I go put my computer back down. I go perform my ablution. I go pray first before I do anything, before I even eat. That's what I do every single day. They've seen me do that, and they know that that's something to do. And one of the things even just last week, I would say this, just by continue to put that fear in their mind. I remember a few days ago, I was telling my son, my 14-year-old son has a dog, a small dog. It's a miniature pincher. And I said, it was time to eat. And I asked him, did you feed your dog? He said, no, I'm going to do that when I finish. I said, no. I said, no, you feed the dog first before you eat. Otherwise, when you go to eat, the dog is going to be sitting down and watching you. And you may eat and then forget and go out. And the dog cannot tell you, I'm hungry. They can't say, I'm thirsty, I want to eat or drink. So I said, and is an animal that you took from their mother, you are responsible. And I said, the day of judgment, you're going to be held accountable for what you were responsible for. That dog, you're going to be held accountable for. Did you take care of that dog? Did you feed them? Did you make sure they have water because they can't talk? So you have to keep that in the back of your mind every time. When it's time to eat, remember, look at your dog's bowl. Is there food and water? If yes, good, go eat. If there's no food and water, give them their food first. Then you go eat. I said, so if you lead like that, that way you're not creating yourself anything, getting yourself a bad deed for not feeding your dog because you're responsible. I said, if you cannot take the responsibility of your dog, then you need to give that dog to somebody else that can take care of them. But you can't have them and forget them. So things like that, these are good advices to train your kids. So when they grow up, they know that when they also have kids, they are responsible for that. They are responsible for making sure that they lead by example and take care of their family as well. It's part of the responsibility. So thank you. I just want to put that out there. Go ahead, Mr. Sawaneh.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. That was a very good, yeah, good speech. I mean, you are a family man. You can tell us more. Sawaneh, you are.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you guys. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Sam, for giving us that insight. So when it comes to raising kids, the way I look at it is that in the diaspora is that first we have a tons of workload to do. You are moving from one job to another, especially single mothers. Single mothers are usually the victim of this kind of thing because you have one mother taking care of a couple of kids, and this mother need to juggle her workload from the housework to working wherever the person is working. So the time constraint is there. The kids are by themselves. Sometimes nobody's home, especially when they divorce. Nobody's home. The kids would tend to, be on their phones, sometimes go out and mingle with other kids. And then in the diaspora, we know how life is. The environment is very toxic in the sense that nobody tend to have respect for their parents. Everybody is about me, is about being obsessed. I don't give a heck, and all those kind of life we are exposed to. You go out there, there is no patience on anybody. You are on the grocery store, on the line, somebody cross. What the heck? That's what you hear. So you leave your kid, going to this environment every day, seeing these things, everybody free life, especially in the United States here. And then the single mother is busy working, trying to put some food on the table for these kids. Nobody understand or nobody knows where the dad is, perhaps couldn't take the load of the family. That happens. Okay, or perhaps the mother was so obsessed that, yeah, you need to kick the dad out because he feels it's America, you can make money and raise kids. So nobody has patience for anyone, and the kids are grown up in this. So this is why we see a lot of hostile environment between parents and their kids. Imagine the culture that we came from. The culture that we came from, you dare not to even talk against your mother or your dad. You'll be dead. Not only they're gonna beat you up, but the community, the society would say, they will take care of you before the dad and mommy take care of you. So you have the cultural bargain, you have the support and the acceptance in the kind of norms that are accepted in the society. So you dare not to be crazy. I dare not to even raise my hand to my parents when I was growing up. In fact, what I'm always worried about when is the next time they're gonna raise their hands towards me. That's what I'm gonna be worried about. Whether if I do this, they're gonna raise their hand on me, or if I do that, they're gonna raise their hand on me. So that culture is what we lack when we come to the West, because first of all, we come here to make a better living. By doing so, you have to go to school. You probably have to work double jobs. Probably don't have time for anything. And if you are a single mother, you're cooking, you're making, you have to go shopping and all that. So the kids are the communication between us and the kids get lost. The kids become independent on their own, and then they explore the outside world. The negativity attracts. Let me tell you something. If you do a case study and you put kids in a situation where there's a negative and positive environment mix, the negative part of the situation will attract the kid, because usually negatives are easy to do and they are fun. The positive ones are harder to do and they have rewards. So as a kid, if you ask a kid, oh, do you do your work? Oh, no, but I like playing. I often hear kids say that. Of course, we all like playing, but there is a limitation for it. So the kid can play the whole day without having to do any school work because he just like playing. So this is what kids are. Kids like what they like, unless and until they don't have the discipline and then the mindset that this is the reward I'm getting. They are not that stage. They're not looking at that. They're looking at the fun part of it. So that's why we call them kids. That's why they need guidance. That's why they need parents to be home with them. And if it is back home, it's totally different. You have your grandmother, your grandfather. You can be out for the whole month, out of touch with your kids, and still somebody is there to make sure that they do the right things. But in the West, you don't see that. So also Sam mentioned a very important point, the religious aspect of it. Religion kind of teaches us to be patient, to respect our parents. Religion teaches us that we get rewarded when we respect our parents. You get blessing. You become somebody tomorrow. So that kind of religious teachings, I'm not saying that it's not in the West, but it's minimal because we don't have many madrasas here. We don't have many, daras here. It takes me, a distance to find somebody to teach my kids at home. And then the madrasa that I even usually send them, they barely go there and play. They end up not learning anything. So I had to actually hire a tutor, online tutor, to kind of do their, Quranic readings through online. So that, because my kids are even a little bit grown, that's the only reason why they could even sit still and listen to those tutor. Otherwise, they will be moving around, and the next thing is it's not even going to be effective. So there is a lot of guidance needed in the West. So that's why it's recommended. I know it's not easy to send your kids back, because to detach your kid and send them back to get the home training, to get to learn the Quran, to get to learn the society is difficult. We all love our kids, and we will all love to have them close by. And then the fundamental things is we don't trust, even if it's your own parents. But you rather want to raise your kids than somebody else. Let's just be honest, because we want to make sure that that kid sleeps well, they eat well. We especially for women, they're worried. Hey, are they going to be treating our kids back home like I would? So these are all very important things to consider. That's why sending kids home is difficult. But sometimes we have to trade off. We have to do it for the sake of the kids' benefit. We detach our kids if we see that, especially the kids that are growing rough, because the signs are on the wall. If your kid is gonna be really a monster, you probably will learn that before. You probably will see. I had a kid who used to start beating everybody at the age of 3. I told him, you know what? You belong to Africa. I took him for a month, and he started beating everybody there, and everybody started beating him back. Everybody started beating him back, and the next thing you know, the kids started chasing him. I'm like, aha! So you beating everybody back in the U.S. Now your behind is getting beaten here. So this is to show you that it's not right to do this. Man, my kid came after 1 year. Those people who were there when he was beating, they came and said, "Ah, is that the boy?" I said, "Yes, that's him." They say, "Oh, he changed." I said, "Lesson learned. Lesson learned." I just took him 1 month. I'm telling you, the kid came and was really changed within 1 year. So the moral of this story is that sometimes you have to take that sacrifice. And I support some people who send their kids to go and learn the Quran, to be fear of God, because fear of God kind of, work on your heart and make you a better person, and can make you not to do bad things. And that's what our kids need, especially parents. If you see a child pick up a gun to shoot the mother or the father, that means that child is even out of mind. Because imagine these people bring you to the world. You know how much it takes to bring a child to the world and feed their little behind until they're grown? You know how much my kids here, in a day, they eat a bowl of cereal, like they go eat the whole house. Sometimes I say, wait a minute, where is the money that I've been the money is going like a toilet paper. So it costs all that for the kids to be raised. And that kid come and then don't appreciate you. That kid's supposed to be wiping your sweats. That kid's supposed to be the one saying, "Mom, thank you for everything." But instead, if you see that kid's turning around, cursing you out, fighting with you to the point to kill you, I think, it is out of the hand. It is out of hand. And it's high time we have this discussion. Parents have this discussion with their kids. And as Halas mentioned one thing that is very important, I must say. I used to organize a a seminar during Gambian Independence Day in New York. And we used to call it an intergenerational dialogue. We stopped because of COVID, but we used to call all the neighborhood kids together. And then, people born in the United States, we used to call them and their parents, and then I will have a panelist of 3 or 4 from the parent side, and then 3 or 4 from the younger generation side. They will express their grievance. The kids will say, oh, the reason why I don't get with my parents because they don't allow me to do this, they do this, they disrespect me in front of my friends, or they don't trust me, and so forth. And then the parents would voice out. When I talk to my kids, they don't listen, they talk back to me. So I said, how can we close the gap? That's the dialogue. So as a moderator, what I did was like, we need to express our grievance, both sides, the generation, because we're 2 generations. The way they train me back home, when I have kids, now that I have kids, I could say, I want them to be like that. If my kids score bad grades, I tell them, I go and bring my report card when I was in elementary school and show them. Look at this. When I was like you, this is what I used to score. So I feel like they don't have any aim because you have all this good stuff, and you are scoring me. You are eating here. You never go to bed without food. You never sleep without a roof. You never even walk on the street without a slippers or some kind of shoes. When I used to walk on the street to go to school without shoes, they said, Daddy, are you kidding me? You walk bare feet? I said, yes. If there was a movie, I would have recorded video. I would have shown them. But those days, of course, there was no movie. So all these things kind of like, they would say, oh man, then we have to appreciate this. I said, this is why you need to do better. So we need to have that dialogue. This intergenerational dialogue kind of teach your kids that they don't just see things emerge in America like that or in the West like that. Things don't emerge like that. People build it, people do the work. So you are in this nice house, you are everything air conditioned. Even yesterday, I was telling my kid, he was sweating when we were eating. And I told him, oh man, because of food, you are sweating? He said, oh, I'm so hot. I said, you should have remembered the time that we go to the plantation and farm. We are on, we are on that sun the whole day. He said, oh, I'll be dead. Daddy, I'll be dead. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's no way.
You kids are so lucky, you don't know. So I always bring the conversation in just to make them understand and appreciate everything that they have. If they want to misuse it, you bring it to the conversation. And this was we were having dinner when I brought that conversation. So all I want to say is that we need to build that gap of intergenerational gap so that our kids can understand us, not to look at things the way they see it outside. Because the way they see it outside, it's like everything is there. Nothing on the other side exists. There's no going to school bare feet or with nyambalas plastic on your feet. There is no, like walk, riding a donkey cart instead of a car. They don't see that. You just have, sometimes I even go online and show them example of those things so they can relate, and then they will start to appreciate more. And you as a parent, they'll be understanding, because I see sometimes when I talk to my kids, and sometimes they will get up, go upstairs and bang the door. I'm like, wait a minute. They will not say anything, just walk, bang the door, and they probably lock themselves in the closet. And I will ask the other kid, what's going on? He said, because he's mad. What you said? I said, I go and bring the kid. Oh, you are mad? Listen, you gotta, me talking to you are mad like that. Imagine if you grown up like this, you probably would slap me when I talk to you like that. I say, you know what? I'm gonna correct it here. I make him do more punishment. Monkey dance. You know monkey dance? Man, that's my favorite one. And if you are from Armitage High School, if you are from Armitage High School, you kneel down and raise your hand up. So we need to, it's not, has nothing to do with abusing a child, but these are some of the steps that you do to show consequences. And then I come with another strategy. Like I have a budget for everyone. I have everybody, little money saving place. So I update it as we go. So at the end of the week, anybody that has done well, any of my kids, I will take $1. I will show it to all of them, call them. Dollar is very important to these kids. Let me tell you, if you think $1 is small, trust me, that dollar means a lot. I say, if anybody does good in this week, I would say we will evaluate each other. And they will be honest about it. Oh, this person had done this. And so we aggregate them. And the one with the top one, I say, here's your dollar. I put it in a little, petty cash. And then the next thing you know, I see somebody mopping the floor. The next thing you know, I see somebody doing extra work. So, yeah, I'm gonna end up here, but it's fun. I mean, we can build a lot of relationship with our kids. I have 5 kids, thank God, and 4 boys. That is challenging. Of course, one girl, but I learned a lot, doing this kind of thing to help them. And thank God now, they do well. And I think all the others out there, the viewers, you can try these techniques with the kids to build a relationship. It doesn't to say that you have a kid in diaspora, so that means you're gonna be spoiled. That's not true. You can have it. It's the way the parents, and both, it has to take 2 parents as well. One parent is gonna be very hard. I have to be honest with you. Because most of the time my wife doesn't work, and she's here screaming. Sometimes she yell at the kids to the point that her throat would be like sore, but it all pays off. Yeah. So I'm gonna end up there.
Sometimes when parents don't have any solution, you know it in Africa. So the next thing is just to be loud or beating, and that is a sign of weakness, because they don't know what to do with the child at that moment, and they are tempered already. But these are all misunderstanding. Your child can be your best friend. You understand? If you see it that way, even your wife can be your best friend too. People used to say that. So why people saying that? It's just the mutual understanding that can be between you and your child, you and your friend, you and your wife, and you and your parents, on your wife's parents. It's just a mutual understanding. And I think when that is there, then everything will be easy. Also, and then you have to try and start it as early as possible, because many used to make the mistake. They wait till they are at the puberty phase, then they start to trend. They used to say a green how to call it, a green branch is easy to bend, but when you wait till it is dry, if you want to bend it, it will break. You understand? So I think with the kids it's the same. Bring them by as they are little, the way you want to see them later. And don't wait till they are grown up and then you want to tell them, no, not this way, but that way. That is the critical point where many parents used to have, even here in Europe, I would say Germany, then it's almost 18 years, then they just pack their things and tell their parents bye-bye, And most of the time, you cannot blame the kids because they never hear no in their life from the parents because of love. And one day they are 18, you say no, not this way. So there will be misunderstanding too. So I would advise parents also to start it as early as possible. Then, because we all know these problems in Europe, and Mr. Sawaneh, I used to laugh because you see what you do to your parents. If you come to Germany, for example, you take your child, you beat the child, you know, maybe police will come. You understand? Because you should not beat your child. So being a Gambian, you come from another culture, you know that that's the only way. And that's how you were also brought up. So you're living in a community where you should not be, you can be loud and everything, but you should not beat the child. So in that case, you have to take another solution to train the child without beating. It's a training, I know, because what you don't know, you cannot practice it. But you yourself, as a foreigner, you cope to the system. Your child has also to cope with the system, you know. So both of you are having these challenges outside, as you said, Mr. Sawaneh, and it's not very easy. So I think it's always the communication. When the communication is there with your child, and so everything will be okay. You know, that's very important that the parents try to get that with their kids as a good advice.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think, we have exhausted this, and we can just go to the last final stage, which is the social and political responsibility of COVID. And we've seen the government publish names of, people who are out there, they went loose, who had COVID, and they went loose in the street in the Gambia, and they are not being accounted for, or they never follow the guidance. We just want everybody to know that COVID is still here. There are vaccines that are in place. However, there is still no cure. I mean, these vaccines, people are taking them gradually as we go. Pfizer have some vaccine, and then other people, other companies have vaccines as well coming up. But we need to find a solution. I mean, we need to find a way how to manage COVID. We cannot neglect COVID, because the number of deaths we are experiencing since COVID emerged is more than anyone can understand or comprehend. I mean, we haven't seen such a loss like this. So something is going on. You have to ask yourself. I was speaking to somebody who lives next to the graveyard in Sarekunda, and he told me that the kind of traffic, the business he saw, has never been like this. So that makes him believe that something is wrong somewhere. If it is not COVID, then it's something that's doing mass murder. So whatever it is, if they say it's COVID, then believe it. Don't just sit down and be in denial and say, oh, I don't believe these storytellers. How can it COVID? Nobody, I've not seen anything. No. So recently there was a breakage in the Gambia, and they started applying it across the board in the banks. But politically, I have to be honest to you, they are not accounting for COVID. Our politicians are doing rallies in thousands. The Minister of Health, I reached out to him. I'm trying to discuss this matter. He didn't call me back. But my thing would be like, how comes you close the masjids, you did all those closures, and all of a sudden now you are not doing that, even though somebody came to the Gambia with that kind of raised the COVID situation. What is going on? Is it because you guys just want to leave a window for politicians to do their thing, or for the government to have an advantage by kind of exploring this, and you're not doing the shutdown? Minister of Health, come on. Minister of Health, help us here. You need to come out and highlight this to the government. Say, listen, it's not safe for people to gather more than 50 people. Make it a mandate. Pass it to the National Assembly. But no, they're not gonna do that. Before December 2021, before the election, ain't gonna do that. You're not gonna see any lockdown. All you're gonna see is people coming from diaspora going on a quarantine. Yeah, wherever they can tap without disturbing their political rallies, they're gonna do that. We are not fools. So this is very political. And then those people also social, those people who came out and they have COVID and they neglect their COVID situation and they are in the streets, they don't care too. Because if I care about my brother and sister, I would tend to at least be quarantined. I shouldn't be at loose because I might affect somebody else. So I will let Alice and Sam to come into this topic quickly and we can end the show. Thank you guys.
Yep, I'll go in now since I have about 14 minutes or so before I go
Thank you, Sam.
to host my hometown call. But thanks, Mr. Sawaneh, for this. Definitely, like you said, COVID is very serious. You know, we've all seen the whole world how COVID impacted in different aspects, and as a result, when I look at how Gambia handled COVID, I would say it's very poor, very, very poor. Really, they almost, I would almost say they didn't do anything. You know, they did a little bit, but that little bit in my eyes is nothing. They didn't do anything because this government should have taken a more strategic plan to fight COVID rather than the way they're doing it. And like I always say, planning is key, but also leading by example is very important. You've got to lead by example. We cannot say there's COVID in our country, and then we go for rallies and gather people together and host rallies, you know, in different parts of the country. That's really is, I mean, it's like, who cares? Nobody cares. We're telling people one thing, but we're doing something else. You've got to, as a leader, you've got to walk the talk. What you preach is something that you have to lead by example yourself. This government really, with the amount of money that they got for COVID assistance, I don't know where they put that money in because people are still without masks. Hospitals are still there without supplies. Even the basic PPEs, personal protective equipment for the healthcare workers was lacking. And all the things that needed to happen didn't happen. Getting some of the things that I recommended from the beginning, you know. In fact, when COVID came out, I remember going to my forum and I said, I still remember the date. It was February 21st, 2020. I came out and I said, our government need to take stand. They need to go to the airport. They need to go to our ports, our borders, and go to the airport and really take strategic measures, have medical people, personnel in there to make sure anybody that comes in get tested, get checked for their, you know, check them for fever, check them for all the things,
Yeah.
and take corrective actions right there. Anybody that seems to have, or anybody that has any symptom related to COVID, isolate them there. Don't let them get into people with people. The moment you let people get into the country with that, it's going to spread out. And I said this. And then about a week later is when they actually went to the airport and started there, but still didn't do all the things that they needed to do at the airport until they allow. And in fact, between that time is when somebody came in, the first person came into our country with COVID, and that went out there. So, but if you look at it overall, to make it short, is the government, our government did not stand where they need to stand. They didn't do all the right things. They should have got on national television every day and sensitized people about COVID while they're leading by example. And sensitize people with wearing masks. You know, and the hand washing is definitely a must. It's sanitizing places, but disinfecting, especially disinfecting the hospitals and disinfecting all the public places. They need to do that on daily basis. Need to make sure that people wear masks. In America here right now, you know, you go to anywhere, even stores, there is a sign on their door that you have to wear a mask before you can enter that store. If you go to a store, you get to the door and you don't have your mask, you go back. Because if you walk in, they're going to say, excuse me, you need to get your mask. If you don't have a mask, you can't come in. You will go back and get your mask if you left it in your car, whatever it is. So places need to have that things like that. And of course, I can't say more about, I can't say enough about disinfecting. And when I remember when that man came from Bangladesh, the first man that died, they said that died of COVID-19 was from Bangladesh. And as soon as I heard that, I said everywhere he went need to be disinfected. Even the microphone that he used in that mosque, everything. Anybody that really came in contact with him need to go get tested. I said all of this so that they can handle the spread. That way they can isolate anyone that may have had contact with this person that also may have contracted the virus from that person. Should have been isolated before it gets into further. Otherwise, that person, it goes from person to person, person to person, person to person. So a lot of people can be infected with the virus. I said a lot of things in there, and the government didn't do enough. At the end of the day, they really didn't do enough. They didn't do enough, and they made even things worse by one, not utilizing the funds that was given to them for COVID the right way and put it where it needs to go. And two, not setting an example by encouraging use of masks and discouraging social gatherings. Discourage gatherings. Don't be the one that's going to bring people together. All of that, the president himself should have canceled his Meet the Farmers or Meet the People store. He should have canceled that if I were him, or at least go with just his motorcade and nobody else. Only his security. He could have gone with his security and make sure from him all the way back to the last person on the security wear their mask. And when they go somewhere else to talk to people, uh, bring 15, 20 seats, isolate them, social distancing. People can sit, the president can talk, and bring the national television to broadcast it for everybody to see it at home. That would have been a key. If you couldn't cancel it, if he could not cancel it, that's what should have been happened. That's what should have been done. One of the ways that it could have been done, so that people can see everything that was happening without actually being there in person, so that we can discourage the spread of COVID-19. So, at the end of the day, it's a lot of things, and people still, I would encourage, before I end here, people need to make sure that the hand washing continues for the kids and everybody at home, but disinfect. If you don't have real disinfectants, use bleach. Everybody know what bleach is in Gambia. Let's use bleach. One cup of bleach can be added to 5 gallons of water, and that will be your disinfectant. You can use that to sanitize your whole house, door handles, remote controls, keys, everything that people touch with their hands, bathroom doors, cell phones, wipe them all every day, every time. If you can do that, you can at least prevent the spread in your home. And anybody stepping out of the home, wear their mask and keep the mask on until they come back home. Wash their hands. These are key things that people can do and to protect themselves. Otherwise, this is going to continue to spread, and it could be, of course, we all know it's deadly. So I'm going to stop here and give you guys a chance.
Thank you,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Thank you, Sam. Alice.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering how often do we have the topic and advising the people, but it seems, I think,
But
how I'm seeing it, I think Gambians, they see it as a punishment sometimes. When somebody is talking about the COVID, or they should take PPEs, and, they should take care and wash their hands and so, and social distancing, wearing masks. Many people are reporting what is going on in the Gambia, because when people see the pictures and so, it's as if there is nothing happening. So the question is, who is responsible to inform the people, that is about their life, or to make it a very easy explanation and tell them that COVID is not a conqueror whom you will see coming and then you can run away. because I know we Gambians, especially many people who are not well educated, they expect to see something before they can believe it. That's why it's also a difficult thing to explain to some people what is COVID and what is virus. You understand? So if you should understand what is virus and bacteria, then you can know what people are saying. You know, if you go to Gambia today, you talk, many will tell you, I heard that the COVID is over because there is no more curfew. So those people is telling you that they don't even know the difference. Why was the curfew there and what is COVID-19 and how dangerous it is. Some are having it, they are working, they are going in and out, mingling with the people. They don't know it. You know, they can have a pain and trying to live with it, but they don't come to the idea either. Because many people believe that it is gone. You understand? So the question here is, who is responsible to inform the people? Or the government don't want to inform the people because they cannot go to their rallies? I don't know. You know. But here is about the lives of people. You know, here is not about a position or money. It's about the life of Gambians. You know, so let us not play with the people. Tell them the fact. Tell them to take care. This is not a punishment. It's about their own lives, to save their own lives, because the punishment will come when they have it and go to hospital where there is no medicine, no respirator, nothing. You know, that is the punishment. But not the people advising you to be careful, wash your hands, as some said, wash your hands, wear your mask, keep distance. These are just precautions. They used to say that in Wolof. The one who says you to go and wash just want to see you sign. You understand? Not. It's not a punishment. So that's where the people should understand that and try to cope. Look at these people; they are having everything. You know, they are helping even other people, other states, but they are very serious with wearing masks, keeping distance. We are even having lockdown here now till February. You understand? They are taking this thing very serious, and this is the whole world, not only here or Senegal or South Africa. It's the whole world. So Gambians should ask themselves, why are we not careful of it? From there, they will know that someone or some people are trying to fool them with false information, telling them, oh, that is European disease, this doesn't get African people, or some making foolish videos showing them people should not wear masks. I'm hearing that some people in Gambia, when they see somebody wearing mask, they look like that person is doing something serious because they don't understand that that person should laugh at them because they don't understand the conditions. You understand? If you wear a mask, I heard is something special. Some will even ask you, why are you wearing mask? Some will tell you even this COVID is not true. Because there are very foolish people also in the society. They don't want to do, they don't want others to do. So people should be careful. Here is about each and every individual, his life. We've been warning since the first day. I think now we talk about how many topics about COVID. It's just to help the people.
Many topics, many.
Yeah. When everybody was doing that in the Gambia, whether it's the government or the Minister of Finance or QTV and all these journalists, before they always write about something. What the people are just thinking about today and forget tomorrow. They also have to focus and tell the people what is going on in this world, because many don't know. They are only in Gambia and know what is going on in Serekunda. They can help them and tell them, look, you know, when somebody else is not doing it, then let them also do it as we are doing. We are advising every day, which is not also maybe our duty. Some people are more to do with it than we ourselves. Many people are dying. Many people are focusing on the statistics, which is false. because if you just see the death announcement, Mr. Sawaneh, you talk about this person at the graveyard, you know, that is also a point. You can see that. So I think someone to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, Sam.
we
Take
can
care.
meet
Thank
you.
you, Aldo. Thank you.
We can
Thank you.
meet you
All right.
later.
Yes.
Yeah,
Talk next week. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that is showing you without any statistics that something is going on in the Gambia. You know, but people don't just want to talk about it because many think COVID is something, you should not even say that you have it because people are going to look negative to you. This mentality. If you can remember our first topic about this, that's what I said. Our maslaha and our hiding and all this nonsense, that will give us problem in the Gambia because I know how we think. And these things don't go with COVID. COVID, you have to be frank, open to doctors, give information so that they can know the exact statistic so that they can maneuver with it. But some will not report. Maybe 5 people will report at MRC, and then you see the Gambian data outside the world. In fact, the whole world think that we are having very good numbers for Gambia.
Wow.
They are thinking that Gambia there is no COVID. Yeah, because when you see the statistics, they tell you 2 deaths, 3 inficate, 100 inficate. When people are talking about 20,000, 30,000, the whole world, then you yourself know that everything is false. And if you see the deaths, not only that this person inform you about what's going on in the graveyard, but I'm seeing that also here with my Facebook followers. I have a big follower, you know. Before, when I open Facebook, I see only birthday, 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 birthday. But now, if I open my Facebook, I see only announcement, announcement. Sometimes I don't
Wow.
even want to open it. So whether we want to accept it or want to fool ourselves by believing that there is no COVID, it's left to us. You know, it's left to every individual. Or we are too fine or too nice to wear a mask. That is also irresponsible. Or having it going in and out, going to Gentes and then infecting every other person is also not fair. You know, and I think there the government should do something, or Minister of Health to come out and with the help of DRTS and QTV, let them inform the people that this thing is killing, is doing wonders. And now we don't only have one type, we are having 3 types,
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And they are more dangerous than the first one because you can get it very quickly. So, especially when you don't wear a mask. You see here in Germany, before everybody can even take any other mask. But now it's standard. You either take the white one or the blue one and nothing more. And if you are caught without a mask, be ready. You have to pay. You understand? So why is the government doing that? Because here, every individual is almost insured. And when something happened to you, your insurance is going to pay. So
No.
the insurance will work with the government to make sure that they get laws that they don't have a lot of money to spend because they cannot pay for everybody and they'll die. Even if you drive, you don't trap yourself, it's 40 euros. So some people will say, why 40 euros? It's my own life. So, but you cannot say that
Exactly.
because everything, there is a consequence at the back, So for us, I know we Gambians, we like that. Some people used to say Gambians, they like fun. It's nice to have fun. But let us not forget that there is something serious in our society. There is something killing the people, our loved ones. There is something making the world economic crisis, you know. So let us not just always try to neglect the hard side and focusing on the fun and what is nice to do. This time is we have to focus whether we like it or not. We have to wear a mask whether we like it or not, you know, because people are hoping to talk about post-COVID. So this post-COVID, to be part of it, I think we all have to be prepared, take the precautions, advise our friends when the government is not doing it, people who knows it, try to inform the others, help the families to do that, you know, because this thing, especially the other type of this novel COVID from England, they used to say the other one from South Africa, I don't know, they're and it's normal because viruses they change their form. It's normal with virus. But for COVID, it's very early that they change style. And because what I'm suspecting is since they started with the injections in England, you know, that they mutate itself again, you know, they change always, you know. So, and that came then out and being so even quicker than the original COVID. You can get it very lightly. It spreads very quickly. So our problem in the Gambia is we don't even have paracetamol. When I say that, people laugh. So normally we should be the country taking more care than playing with COVID. Everybody's doing what he wants, you know. And we all know that we don't have paracetamol in our hospitals. We don't have respiratory system, not even correct hospitals for the public. You understand? Then people should take care as advice. We've been talking here all the time, but I think it's better we inform more and more people about this deadly thing, you know, especially young people. You know, I know that it's difficult to stay home the full day, you know, but we are used to it. You know, you have lockdown here everywhere. They are hoping of middle of November, and then here the statistics is always correct. Then they'll see whether it's more or it's less. But that one you can only do it when you have the correct statistics. You know, the correct data. Like MRC, they tell you today we have 2 patients, and people are dying under the beds. People are dying behind the houses, and they are not reported. They are not in the statistics. I think that is also something what is fooling many Gambians. Then they have the feeling that there is nothing going on, you know. So, Mr. Sawaneh, I think that's enough for today. Sam is
Thank you,
already
Alice.
gone, and
Yeah,
I
thank
wanted
you,
to
Alice. Thank you,
continue with
Alice,
my
for
work also.
yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for concluding this. I think we've come to the end of the program. We thank our viewers. A lot of people have been sending feedbacks. I can just go over that quickly.
yeah. No question
Some
today.
people are saying that they fear Gambia. This is coming in the coming months. This is gonna be serious. We have to wash hand and clean, wash hand and be
Yeah,
far from
yeah,
one another. Some people are
yeah.
Yama
Me
say
too.
maybe the government should conduct serious testing on people. Yama C. Kevin Sadie, president is a big fool. Aissatou Silla, you know. So we have many other comments. I'm pretty sure um, about this COVID. So it's really very. I mean, this whole entire program is very helpful. People come here and sensitize one another, and then feel free to watch us every Sunday. We come here and talk about issues that matters to our lives, our people. How we can grow as a society, and then our issues of discussion varies. Social issues, economical, political, it mix up issues. So anything that we feel is important for us to come and talk about it, we will. And sometimes we do have guests at our show. We haven't get one in a couple of shows, but we expecting more. So we will be in touch definitely. Thank you, Alas, for your time, and thanks, Sam.
Yeah,
This
thank
is a
you,
great program. Yeah,
Mr. Sawane. Yeah. we cannot be tired advising people. It's very
yeah,
sorry, to see how everything is going on there. As if there is nobody to tell the people you should not do it. Who is
yeah,
responsible?
definitely. This is like a reminder because not everybody knows it a lot. All. That's why we have chat box. People send their thoughts there. We are not an expert in anything. We just, people coming here every day, I mean, every week to share our experiences, to talk about issues that we think are important. And again, anybody, anything can, it can benefit anyone. Any information being picked up here could be useful to anyone. So spread the videos, says share it with your group, and then we'll catch up next week.
Okay, Mr. Son. Then I have to leave now.
All right. Thank you so much, Alice.
Bye bye bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye.